Hello everyone. Today I'll be speaking on my seminar topic, that is chromatography in downstreaming process. The contents which I'll be dealing in my seminar is definition of downstreaming process, then some basic terms used in chromatography, then gas liquid chromatography, column chromatography, adsorption chromatography, affinity chromatography, gel permeation chromatography, and HPLC chromatography. So to begin with, downstreaming process is a series of operations that requires a biological materials such as cells, tissue culture, fluid or plant tissues, and then from them a pure and homogeneous protein product is obtained. What actually happens in downstreaming process, after the completion of biosynthetic stage, the product is subjected through a series of processes, and the major steps which forms the downstreaming process or which are involved in downstreaming process is purification and separation. So in downstreaming, a culture broth is taken and then cell separation takes place. Then after the cell separation happens, two products are formed: extracellular products and intracellular products. In case of extracellular products, supernatant is captured and then it is left for purification. But in case of intracellular, cell disintegration happens, and that is mainly done by chemical or mechanical or enzymatic or physical methods, and then refolding is done, and then extraction, and then again refolding, and then they are left for purification. And purification is the main step of downstreaming process, and which is mainly done by the process called chromatography. Moving on to the next topic, that is chromatography. Chromatography is a method of separation of molecules from the mixture on the basis of difference in their partition coefficient between two immiscible phase. So what actually happens in chromatography is individual components of a mixture are separated based on their affinities towards the stationary or mobile phase. So now some basic terms used in chromatography. First one is analyte. Analyte is the substance that is to be separated during the chromatography, and it is also something that is needed from the mixture. The eluate is the mobile phase that leaves the column. The eluent is the solvent that carries the analyte, and a chromatogram is a visual output of the chromatography or a visible record. For example, a graph showing the result of separating the components of a mixture by chromatography. On to the next topic, that is general procedure of chromatography. So in chromatography, a mixture is dissolved in a fluid called mobile phase, and mobile phase is movable phase and which flows through a stationary phase, and that can be liquid or a gas, and which carries it through a structure holding another material called stationary phase. Stationary phase is immobile phase, and which may be solid or liquid or a mixture, and the various constituent of mixture travel at different speeds, and because of the difference in the speeds it gets separated, and the separation is based on coefficient partition between the mobile and the stationary phase depending upon the RF values, and RF value is calculated by distance traveled by the solute front upon distance traveled by the solvent front. Now on to the next topic, that is types of chromatography. Chromatography has two types, that is adsorption chromatography and partition chromatography. Thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography comes under adsorption chromatography, and in partition chromatography, gas and column and HPLC chromatography. Now on to gas chromatography. Gas chromatography is a separation technique or analytical technique for separating and analyzing compounds that can be vaporized without decomposition. So here the mobile phase is inert carrier gas, that can be helium or neon, and stationary phase is liquid or polymer on inert solid support inside a column. And the principle behind this chromatography is The sample solution is injected inside, enters a gas stream which transport the sample into a column, and then separation of various components takes place in the column consisting of liquid and polymer. So the sample components are separated based on their boiling point and relative affinity for the stationary phase, which is most often a viscous liquid within a column. The higher a component's affinity for the stationary phase, the slower it comes out of the column. Components are then detected and then represented as peaks on chromatogram. The mixture of volatile material is injected into column along with the mobile phase. The separation of volatile mixture is based on partition of components between mobile phase, that is gas, and stationary phase, that is liquid. Hence the name is given gas liquid chromatography. The sample of unknown concentration is measured and compared with a standard sample of known concentration, and then the standard sample peak retention time and area are compared to the test sample to calculate the concentration. Now moving on to the components of gas chromatography. Gas chromatography has carrier gas, which is chemically inert. The commonly used gases are neon, helium, argon and carbon dioxide. Next is sample injection port, that is introduced into the column using a micro syringe. Now comes the columns. It is a packed and a capillary column. Packed columns contain finely divided inert solid support coated with liquid stationary phase of 2 to 4 millimeter in size, and capillary columns may be wall coated open tubular or support coated open tubular. Now comes the last, which is detector. Detector detects the presence of individual components as they leave the column. The signals are amplified and traced in a recorder. There are three types of detector, which are thermal conductivity detector, flame ionization detector and electron capture detector. Moving on to column chromatography. It is a chromatography technique in which separation is carried out in column. So here column is filled with a stationary phase, which can be silica, alumina, cellulose, and other example can be charcoal powder and calcium hydroxyapatite. In this, the sample mixture in solvent is loaded on this column. The individual compounds get differentially adsorbed onto the absorbent. So what happens? The bottom of the column is packed with cotton to support the stationary phase. So after that, the sample is loaded with the mobile phase. On top of the column, once the sample is loaded, mobile is continuously added to the column during separation. The mobile phase moves down the column because of gravity. Now the separation happens, and separation of molecules occur due to the difference in the interaction between mobile phase and the stationary phase. That is, if the interaction with mobile phase is more, then it will move faster or it will come out faster, and if the interaction with stationary phase is more, it will come slower. So to increase the flow rate of mobile, a pumped or a compressed gas like argon or nitrogen can be used, and the individual compounds come out of column at different rates, which may be collected separately and identified. So you can see in this picture that in the first one the sample is loaded and stationary phase is also there. In the second one you can see mobile phase is loaded. So now you can see if the interaction with stationary phase is more, the fraction or eluted molecules come slower, and if the interaction with mobile phase is more, the eluted molecules or fractions will be coming out faster. Now I want to mention one thing. Depending on the stationary phase used in column chromatography, different types of chromatography can be identified. So if the stationary phase used is silica and alumina, then it is adsorption chromatography. If it is ion exchange resin, then it is ion exchange chromatography. If the stationary phase is ligand, then it is affinity chromatography, and if the stationary phase used is porous or beads, then it is gel permeation chromatography. Now moving on to the most industrially important chromatography technique, that is HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. HPLC is an analytical technique that is used to separate, identify and quantify each component in a mixture. And the main principle behind HPLC is the sample that is to be analyzed is introduced in a small volume to the stream of mobile phase and is retarded by specific chemical or physical interaction with the stationary phase as it travels the length of the column, and the amount of retardation depends on the nature of analyte and stationary phase and mobile phase composition. So here the main difference between HPLC and column chromatography is, instead of solvent being allowed to drip through a column under gravity, in case of HPLC it is forced under high pressure, that is up to 400 atmosphere, and the purification takes place in a separation column between a stationary and a mobile phase, and the stationary phase is granular material with very small porous particles in a separation column. Now moving on to instrumentation of HPLC. Here you can see HPLC solvent is there, then HPLC pump, and then injector where sample is injected, then HPLC column is there, then detector, then recorder, and at last the waste material is released out. I will be explaining each and every part in my next slide. Now moving on to components of HPLC. The first one is pump. It aspirates the mobile phase from the solvent reservoir and forces it through the system's column and detector. The next one is sample injector. Sample can be injected in a single injection or through an automated injection system. The sample volume which is generally used is 0.1 to 1 ml with high reproducibility and under high pressure. The next one is column. These are made up of polished stainless steel with internal diameter of between 3 to 5 millimeter and is commonly filled with a stationary phase with particle size of 3 to 10 millimeter. The temperature of mobile phase and column should be constant. And the next is detector. These detectors are located at the end of the column and it detects the analytes as they elute from the chromatographic column. The most commonly used detectors are UV spectroscopy, fluorescence mass spectrometry, and electrochemical detectors. The last one is recorder. The signals are collected, processed and stored and are represented into various chromatographic data. An integrated response of the detector is converted into a chromatogram which are easy to read and interpret. Now moving on to the next topic, that is gel filtration chromatography. Gel filtration chromatography is a technique in which fractionation is based on molecular size and shape of the species in the sample. It can separate proteins solely based on molecular size difference, and it can be usually applied to large molecules such as proteins and industrial polymers, and they can also be called as gel permeation chromatography, size exclusion chromatography, gel exclusion chromatography, or gel permease chromatography. The principle behind GFC is the gel filtration chromatography is based on molecular size and the hydrodynamic volume of the components, and the principle behind GFC is that the particles of different size elute through a heteroporous stationary phase at different rates. And here hydrodynamic volume is, it is the volume taken by the molecule which is present in the water. Now this is performed in a column by elution method, and the degree of retardation depends on the extent to which the solid molecules or ion can penetrate the solution phase held within the pores of gel-like matrix. Now column of gel particles or porous glass granules is in equilibrium with a suitable mobile phase for analytes that is to be separated. Here it is important to understand, in gel filtration chromatography different types of proteins of different size can be separated, and as you can see in this picture that these are porous beads and large proteins and smaller size proteins are there. So bigger size proteins are eluted first and smaller size proteins are eluted last. So on the basis of the volume of buffer or the sample used by the large proteins and the volume of sample or buffer used by the smaller protein gives a indication that our proteins are separated on the basis of size. Now moving on to thin layer chromatography or TLC. It is a solid liquid technique in which the two phases are a solid stationary phase and a liquid moving or mobile phase. The principle behind this chromatography is of adsorption or partition chromatography depending on the adsorbent, its treatment and the nature of solvent employed. The stationary phase is a polar adsorbent, that is ground alumina or silica, whereas the mobile phase is a mixture of solvent such as benzene, acetone, ethyl alcohol or chloroform. The components of TLC are stationary phases, that is TLC plate, the mobile phase is development of solvent and the solute, that is the sample to be analyzed. Now you can see the steps involved in thin layer chromatography. So in step 1, the sample spotting is done, that is the compound or the mixture to be analyzed is spotted on the TLC plate using a capillary tube and the solvent travels up by capillary action. Now in the second step, the TLC plate is then soaked in the solvent or mobile phase for developing. The components of the mixture gets placed a distance at various positions based on its absorbing capacity or polarity. That is, as you can see in the step 3, that blue color dot has traveled more and the orange color has not traveled that far, because orange color dot is more polar molecule than the blue color. So at the last, visualization is done using UV transilluminator or by using certain reagents like ninhydrin for amino acids, urea formaldehyde for carbohydrates and iodine vapors. Now we come to the most important aspect of my seminar, that is applications of chromatography in downstreaming process. Almost all companies are using chromatography techniques to separate or to purify products. So as you can see, in pharmaceutical companies, antibiotics, sedatives, steroids and analgesics are separated. In biochemical companies, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids are separated. In food industries, artificial sweeteners, antioxidants, aflatoxins, additives are separated. In chemical industries, condensed aromatics, surfactants, propellants and dyes are separated. In pollutants, pesticides, herbicides, phenols, polychlorinated biphenyls are purified. And in clinical chemistry, bile acids, drug metabolites, urine extracts and estrogens, all these uses chromatography as a purification method or separation method. Thank you, and I hope that my seminar will be useful for your coming semester exam, and I would like to thank my guide Prasanna sir for supporting me and guiding me always. Thank you.